Everybody, we're going to be starting our Blitz and Rapid Chess casual stream here on lichess.org. I'm International Master William Paschall. Good morning and good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. It is morning time here in Budapest, and it's been raining constantly for the last like 24 hours. What's up, guys? We've got the jet lag kicking in. It's really fun. Alright. Masturbate just resubscribed with a tier 3 subscribe for 8 months in a row. You are our #1 supporter, Asturbate, and I cheer you for that. So we are going to get a new overlay set up here, but I basically was just streaming last night and had barely enough time to try to sleep and come back on. So we did not test out the new overlay. We'll get that done today. Soltigo. We've got quite a bit of time till the next stream. The next stream is our subscriber tournament, our viewer tournament on Tuesday night. So basically, quite a long break between this stream and the next stream on Tuesday night. I'll have a lot of time to work on that. Not a lot of time. I never have a lot of time. We stay busy here, but I will have enough time to do it. Hopefully that will work out. So what is up, guys? This morning here, ready to play. JCS is challenging us. Did not see him in the last day or two. He may not be doing the 4 a.m. thing on a regular basis. JCS rated 1962. Don't remember that year. I didn't make that one. So, all right, we'll accept his casual challenge in a second. You guys are welcome to get in the queue. We are taking subscribers first, as par usual. But I've been thinking about, down the line, maybe moving the stream half an hour later. We'll see how that plays out. Just an idea. Chesspotzer Wales is hosting for 3 viewers. Gary Fong is here. All right, I feel like there was something I wanted to say before we got started. Oh yeah, okay, so Tuesday night is going to be 6:30. For now, the evening streams are going to be 6:30 in the evening, CEST. I did put that in the info in the Twitch stream. But I mean, we need to think of a time control. I think we're due for rapid in the Tuesday tournament, so it should be the standard 7+2 rapid arena tomorrow night at 6:30 European time. Good morning. What's up? So, Chesspotzer Wales, thanks for subscribing. Same for Gary Fong, for Asturbate. Soltigo's here. JCS is here. All you guys have been very kind, supporting the stream by subscribing, and especially Asturbate and JCS and Soltigo, which you guys have been around for a while and really helping the stream. So, thank you so much. Alright, so we got challenges from those guys. I actually went over most of the simul games. I wish I had played better. We had some kind of strange blunders. Like I hung a rook against one guy yesterday. It was very strange. I mean, I don't know why I thought my rook was protected, but we have strange hallucinations sometimes. Okay, JCS, we're gonna get underway here in a minute. 7+3 casual. Just make sure the challenges are between 5+3 and 7+3 casual. All right, let's get it started. Thank God I'm white against him, because he's so tough with white. Alright, he's tough either way, but what are we going to start with? I don't know. Decided to play d4. Actually, we've had some Catalan with both colors. I don't know why I'm playing this move order per se. I don't normally play d4 knight f3 on move 2, but I've done it on occasion. How can we throw him off? Basically, how can I throw myself off? Let's play something weird. Not really ambitious, the Kali system. But I just felt like playing something different. Something a little slow because I'm still not fully awake. I have the jet lag pretty badly. I know I should start doing the melatonin thing, probably. They recommend that. as a solution. But anyway, the other problem is that it's like raining here, and I have skylights, and I have to like get up in the middle of the night to like open the window and close the window. It's like really high humidity, extremely. Not only is it like raining, but it's like extremely humid. So I played b3 here. I know that you can allow c4. I was actually having this discussion, I guess, with Mr. Coffee the other day. But if you castle and you allow black to play c4, it's kind of weird. Like castle c4, bishop e2. Basically, JCS not doing anything to impede my Coley-Kaltnowski system here. I only played this setup maybe like once or twice. Now he's playing bishop a6. Feels like I should definitely play c4. But on the other hand, maybe it's not so bad for black. c4, dc. Could take back either way there, actually. He's also playing fast. Take, queen e2 is kind of unambitious, I think. This is going to give him the ability to put pressure on my hanging pawns in the center. We actually don't have that many games against JCS. Now, knight takes is very safe. He's also playing super fast. Knight takes is definitely playable. It's more, anytime you don't make a pawn move, basically, it's safer. Every pawn move you make is going to weaken your position. Let me fix the stream here, so I can read the commentary. Ayestis here. Oh, they're killing me yesterday. It was a kind of interesting opening, and then I drifted. He played very aggressively in the late middle game instead of safely. Okay, so c4, d takes, c4. I don't know. B takes was my intention. I'm having second thoughts. But this is clearly the more aggressive way to play. He's used 30 seconds for the whole game so far. Great. But I don't understand this. He's going back. Okay, it's not bad. 30 seconds for 11 moves. It seems inconsistent to go back. He waits the tempo, but at the same time, it remains like a very standard kind of hanging pawn setup for black. I mean, the problem is that one of these pawns lunges forward. I wasn't expecting him to go back. I really thought he's just going to play like knight c6 and try to put maximum pressure on my pawn on c4. This is not a setup that I play very often. It is a commonly played variation for white in general. This is like totally standard. Queen c7. And I guess I could have played d5. But he's kind of flustering me how quickly he's playing. I don't have time to think at all on his time. What's that? Raid. So it looks like he was nervous about d5 and decided to play rook e8. I was actually expecting the rooks, you know, to come to these squares over here. The other interesting move is queen f4. You can also try to play like knight h5, knight f4, and I might have to play g3, which I was considering a minute ago. So this doesn't look all that great for me. It's kind of a wimpy move, but I'm concerned that I'm worse here structurally, honestly. I plays queen f4 instantly in this position. it's like 4 a.m. where he is. It's like playing Karpov or something. Queen f4. Not really awake yet. I don't have anything here. Black is better. Probably just better. I had a game like this against this guy Teddy Coleman once, I remember. I think it was in... Or was it? In Vegas. I feel like I was just worse because of this f4 square. And it was a draw, I think, but I was just feeling like White has a disadvantage. Huh. What can I do? I mean, he's got a 3-minute lead against me. Man, dude. Alright. I'm just trying to not be worse in this position. Attila. Oh my god. Turzo Attila. The artist formerly known as Turzo Attila. Do you guys know each other? Turzo Attila and Soltigo? Need my Kwang Liam Tao. Turzo Attila. Oh no. Am I losing pieces yet? Bishop e4, bishop c3, bishop takes c3, rook takes c3. What is going on here? This looks horrible for me. GCS is playing like a solid master. Very good understanding of the structure. White's just worse due to pawn structure. I'm sure that the engine must call it like that. I mean, I don't know. In practical games, things can happen. Like I can get a passed pawn, but I just feel like this is unpleasant, you know, at best for White. Ooh, and he's really fast. Can't really keep up with him. Okay, so my d4 pawn is protected by my knight. My other pawn is protected by my rook. We should be able to keep it together. But I mean, I'm still just on the defensive. There are ways that I can improve my position here. I mean, my king can get better. It's, you know, it's okay. He can play king e7 as well. But I have more space for my king, you know, to maybe improve itself. Yeah, this is remarkably well played by Black. And so far, I don't know if either side's made any kind of mistakes. Looks like perfect play. Yeah, Attila is a guy I've known for a long time. It's the real. I don't think anyone's gonna, you know, impersonate Turzo Attila. It's an international master from Hungary. He's an international master from Hungary, and we actually contributed to the same chess site, chesslecture.com, for a while. All right. But I hadn't seen any evidence of him on lichess. I guess he's just arriving. Okay, this, I don't know. I just can't seem to keep up with JCS. He's too fast. Yeah, his knight is bad there. Speed compensates for other factors, I guess. You can't have it both ways. You can have your knight and pawn on f6. Chesspots are whales. Donated 100 bits to the stream. The first donation for the week. Thank you so much. Alright. I don't know. I don't have time to think, really. He's playing too fast. The a4 is something I probably could have played already at one point. Now white's a little bit better. Okay, I've got no time. I basically just got to gamble here. I didn't know JCS is that fast. We have not so many games. He has not so many games. I mean, he's only played me 6 times. And he's playing like really fast. Instantly sees these moves. Alright, I thought about sacking the exchange here. I mean, I could to just try to draw, I guess. F5 is going to be a problem. I mean, he's going to flag me. I can't possibly play this fast and defend against every possible threat. He sees everything, like 95. Very tricky move. The most tricky move you could play, basically. The one thing I was afraid of. He sees instantly. It's bad. A bad sign for me. I have to deal against maximum trickiness here. Turkey Farm, what's up? So, rook takes a5. He has that. Oh no. I'm just gonna lose on time. I was about to lose on time, so. Jesus. Do we have something here? Anything? I don't have any time to think, let alone commentate the game, basically. I'm just trying to not lose on time. He's just basically too fast. No, I don't want more time. I don't understand why he's doing that. Alright, I'm just gonna offer a draw, because this is weird. I never ever want people giving me more time, but JCS should know that. I just offered a draw, and he declined. You're declining a draw here? Really? Alright, that's kind of weird. I don't understand. Is he like playing for a win here? And I have the passed pawn on c5, or what are we doing? Oh, this is new. So I can't offer a draw again. That's very, very strange. You guys see this? Is this a new feature? Like, once you offer a draw, you can't offer a draw anymore? For how long? That's pretty bogus. I mean, I think it's like bad form to offer multiple draws, but that doesn't mean that like it should be like illegal, because the position can change within like 5 moves. So I don't agree with this lichess feature. You know, as bad as it is, to just offer multiple draws. You know, the position could change dramatically in like 5 moves, making a draw for relevant again. So that's pretty arbitrary and strange. Don't think that's a cool feature. I just dropped a pawn. This is weird. I guess I can go here. I don't think I'm losing either move. But please don't give me more time, guys, if we get in a situation like that. It's not fair to the other players. It's already a very, very long game, so I'm complaining about the time, but this was... Yeah, that's totally bogus. You can't just arbitrarily make the rule like you can't offer draw for another 10 moves. I mean, I don't know. I hate it as much as anything, but I don't think that that's really correct. I mean, you may need to offer another draw for some reason, especially if there's very little time left and the player didn't see like the first draw. For a lot of times, that's the other thing. Like maybe JCS or whoever you're playing in blitz doesn't see the first draw, for they don't react in time, you know, and then like you're sitting there with both, say, like with 3 seconds left, and one guy offers to draw the other guy an opposite color endgame where like it's like a total draw. And then so many times it happens that like you just don't see it in time, and then like you're like, well, I would have taken the draw, but I didn't see it, you know. And now, you know, the guy offers a draw a second time, you know, after like 5 moves or whatever, and you would take it, but now you can't because there's like this idiotic like 10 move rule that you can't offer another draw. So I think that's not good. You know, the intention is good, but the, you know, action of it I think is not going to work out. That's not really a good idea. Contact Thibault, yeah, I'm sure Thibault will be really receptive to that. He gets grumpy when you complain about the features and stuff. So I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna like start a forum discussion about it. I'd rather stick some needles in my eyes or something. But that's just my opinion. Just my opinion on it. All right. That was 7 months ago. So if it's a new thing, that's irrelevant. 7 months ago. Wow, I don't remember this. Do you guys remember this being around? Why did I not notice it, really? I guess I don't offer that many draws. Fixed screen. I don't think we're going to see too many center pawn lost there. Maybe my blunder of the c-pawn, but it was still a draw. Pretty much a perfect game by both sides. Alright, why isn't this straight? Well, that was a tough enough game for the first game of the day. Yeah, I mean, it seemed to me like a very recent change. I don't remember this. Well, I mean, it was weird that he declined my draw in a position where it's really impossible for black to win, unless I'm like an idiot or something. I was winning, apparently. Whoa. There was some kind of tactic I didn't see. King e3, okay. That's totally weird. King e3, rook d6, I would have assumed. Strange. King e3, rook d6, c5, and then rook d5, and then c6. It's an incidental tactic, which I obviously had no time to find because he had me on time pressure from the get-go. So today isn't a simul. No, yesterday was our simul. I'm doing simuls on Sunday. Yeah, this is just a kind of accident. But he played a little too aggressively, you know. Really good game by both sides. 21 cent-upon loss, 20 cent-upon loss. He made this one incidental blunder, but it was a weird sort of tactic. Right around here, he started to play pretty aggressively with this 95 check. Definitely the best move. The trickiest move, and I had only like 50 seconds to his 3 minutes at this point. Maybe I'm slightly better, but it's a very, very demanding position. I have to be precise. My pawns are weak. So I thought it was an excellently played game by both sides. But the time pressure made it impossible for me to do anything. My stream title says simul. Ah, no. No. Alright. Darn. Yeah, that's what the jet lag will do to you. Forgot to change it. Rapid and blitz. So what's up, guys? Doesn't look like my title's changed. How does it look for you guys? It was a great game. But at this point he still had like more than half his time left. Or half his time left. Queen f4, everything. And this is the kind of game I would expect from a 2200. Playing black. You know, JCS is rated 1962. So the tactic is easy. It's just a freak accident, really. At this point he has to be careful. He put his knight on prise, and then he puts his knight on b6, or rather f6, and now rook takes a5. This is dropping. Yeah, and rook c7 was the best move here in that position. That didn't happen. He went... Wait, no, this did happen. Okay, he didn't play rook c7. He took the pawn on d4. This is the natural move, but it's actually a mistake because of something that we didn't see. Acerbate. His rook has to keep the knight protected, you know, but I never considered moving my king. I would have found it if I had any amount of time, but I was just concerned. I have 24 seconds here. My concern is losing on time. So I have to see this like sequence here. I saw king e3, probably, but I just, you know, look and check, and there's a square, you know, and then I have to see this, and then there's another square here, and then I have c6. It's just a kind of domino that I didn't see, you know, this like three move sequence with 24 seconds left. All right, good game. So next is Soltigo. Alright, another 1900 who can play like a master. Guys are too good. Irish man. You just came for work. The streaming schedule is pretty bad for me. Where are you, Simonia? Alright. Turn the volume down. Stream works with any title. That's true. Yeah, but I mean, I just never... No, I don't want more time. It's kind of insulting. I complain about the time, but that's the way it is, you know. Alright. I'm just relaying to you guys what I feel like. I feel like the time pressure, you know, trying to relay my thoughts as I play, but don't need to give me more time because I'm complaining about the time. That's just the way it is, you know. I can't think properly. I can't think clearly because I don't have enough time. And it's affecting my play. It happens a lot in the simuls. Alright, this is a faster game actually, 5+3. Kind of an unusual line. You could play c5 here, I guess. c5, e5, and then retreat the knight back to g8. Looks kind of odd, but I mean, there's stranger things in chess, like the Alekhine's defense with knight to g8. Well, this is like a rope-a-dope opening. I mean, it's probably not really correct for black. Not enough space. But anything's playable on some level. I don't know, JCS. I don't usually lose on time. Maybe you don't watch the blitz streams that much, but I basically don't lose on time unless it's like a simul or I have a lost position. I just like complaining about it. With a 3-second increment anyway. I mean, if it's like 2 seconds increment, sometimes I do lose on time. If it's if my lag is bad, especially like in the US, when was it? I had yeah, we had some streams at one point where I was lagging pretty badly. So black doesn't have too much space here, but I suppose this is playable. Okay, I have no idea as far as what to call this. F takes E, opens up his bishop on F8. I don't like that. I've been very aggressive here. Okay, knight F3, let's say pawn takes D4, knight takes D4, knight C5, castles, something like that. Technically, white should have an advantage. I guess I could play D5. Then pawn takes F4, and he gains control of the E5 square. Yeah, it's a weird Owen's defense, or Owen defense, excuse me. It's always tempting to say Owens. But is it Owens apostrophe S? Alright. Thanks guys for watching and tuning in. That game was, JCS was too fast. 10 a.m. here, man. It's worse. I'd rather have it be like your time, 4 a.m. That's easier than the 10 a.m. I went to sleep normally, but I didn't fall asleep until like 4 o'clock in the morning last night. The wonders of jet lag. You think it looks dodgy? Well, there's one dodgy thing about it. The fact that black's traded off his strong point on e5. You know, that this is going to be a major factor. But I think that here, if white doesn't act very incisively, black could get a very viable position. All he needs is like a couple of moves of development, and he'd be all set. So, I'm not that sure. It's a question of how dodgy it is. See, the knight c5... I'd really like to preserve my bishop, but my pawn is hanging on e4. And now if I play bishop c2, knight takes e4, for example, queen e2, I pin it. He has queen e7. And then I have some tactics with like looking at things like knight to d5, knight to f5. It just doesn't look like it quite works. I mean, in other words, I think I have to castle here. And actually, that's fine. I mean, it's fine to give up your white squared bishop in this Marazzi type of bishop here. So now Soltigo has to put his bishop on e7, which is suboptimal. What he really wanted to have was like g6, bishop g7. with the double fianchetto. Now, on the other hand, how do I defend this pawn properly now? Well, I mean, the chances are I could actually sacrifice a pawn here, to tell you the truth. I mean, can I sacrifice a pawn? Is something like f5 going to happen? Knight takes e4, bishop takes e4, knight takes e4. You know what I mean? Just e5 was suggested. No, I can't play e5 because it'll just blow up on my face, in my face. With my king is wide open. Now is he actually threatening to take the pawn? Man. I guess I can play queen f3. I didn't really want to put my rook on e1 because it's actually better on f1. Now I'm thinking he can take the pawn on e4. So this is kind of awkward. There's even knight takes e4. If queen there, knight takes e4. Knight takes e4, f5. Oh man, come on. I hope he doesn't seriously have this tactic. Let's say knight on, well, only knight on f takes e4 there. I'm much better off when I'm playing concrete type of positions with lots of time. When I don't have a lot of time and I just have a murky position. Now he's traded off that guy. Maybe knight d7 back here isn't so bad for black. He can try to play like bishop f6. White's better though. It looks like a good Sicilian where I have more space. This is a classic situation where actually the con Sicilian happens a lot. The bishop on d3 isn't really better than a knight, so you're happy to trade it off. In other words, both sides are more comfortable now. Black because he's relieved his position by trading a set of pieces, and white because he has not so much pressure on e4, and now we actually have comfortable control of e4. Yeah, Sicilian. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't have to literally be exactly the same. Bishop f6. Exactly, it's like a Sicilian where the pawn didn't move. The idea is the same. You're not getting the point. It's okay to trade your bishop for a knight, in other words, even though it's like kind of an open position. Here, I don't know, maybe queen c2, just keep everything protected. Names are just names. But Sotico kind of wasn't thinking about this take on f6, but he has a lot of pressure on the e4 now, so what's really going on here? I'm not sure. But this could get kind of scary. I could have to sack an exchange now with rook takes e4. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe I blundered. Another blunder. Wow. Okay, that's good to see, because I was mostly worried about the other move. Got great compensation for the sacrificed pawn. If the knight is hanging, This looks kind of crazy, and it is, in fact, crazy. Alright. Wow. What am I doing? Darn. No, this is very, very unclear. So right now, if we just play from this position, the computer thinks it's equal. Approximately equal, which is acceptable to me. I thought maybe the same. I mean, it was crazy that he allowed me to play bishop takes f6. It's probably bad for black. But I realized as soon as I played knight f5 that it's not so simple. I mean, first of all, you gotta look at like bishop takes e4 here. Someone was suggesting this. Knight h6 check. I didn't even see what this does, honestly. King f8. And so there's a very long computer line based on this. But once again, I didn't have time to think about, you know, anything really long, any long variations with slow moves like this. I mean, this is not even... You can find this move maybe with intuition, but you'd have to really kind of be in the zone, you know. This is similar to the last game. I got in time pressure, and I feel like I'm you know, without enough time to really figure out what I should be doing properly. Luckily here, yeah, he puts his king on h8. This is just too dangerous. It's not an easy position to play, though. If you look at the engine, it says it's equal if you play perfect moves. But that's what's the trouble with like claiming that, you know, computer moves and all this. You have to play like perfect move, perfect move, perfect move for black to be okay here. I'd rather be down a pawn, you know, with a slightly safer king. All right, good game though. It was fun. Asterbate, thank you for the bit donation. We've had a bunch I didn't even mention. I'm sorry. So Chesspouncer, I mentioned earlier, donated 101. Kachimari just donated 100, and Asterbate donated 100. Now he must have donated. What did you do? 99 and then 1. Seriously, dude. He's seriously doing the prices right. All right, your waffle is done now. Thank you, Kachmaui. Kachmaui. All right, Asterbate is up next. Asterbate, we're taking the guys. If you're wondering why, you know, I'm taking the subscribers to the stream. So thank you for resubscribing, Nils. Nils was actually saying yesterday how he hasn't resubscribed yet, but he did now. And he was complaining about my beard, so I'm thinking of, you know, since you subscribed, I was thinking about shaving. All right, Asterbate. But it wasn't too bad now. Arsenal fan? Wait. Arsenal is best? Yeah, it's just a coincidence, probably. Asterbate has to learn to play a proper line of the Sicilian. You better not play like knight takes d4. Last time he played knight c6, d4, c takes d, knight takes d4, knight takes d4. And I told him not to do that anymore. He doesn't care. All right. But I was thinking of shaving anyway. I hope he won't be hurt. Don't remember the last time I shaved. It was probably after I arrived here in Budapest. I can't remember though. I know it's not too interesting, but you brought it up originally. So, d4. But I realized I'm like stroking my beard here, which made me think of it. Okay, so e6. This move isn't good either, Acerbate. But it's... The question is, how bad is it, I guess? D takes c5 or d5. If I play d5, it's more like, you know, up his alley. It's actually kind of Benoni. If you play d takes c5, black can play queen a5 check, knight c3, queen takes c5. That's probably one of my better continuations. Of course, you can also take back and allow the trade of queens on d8. How bad is this, though? You know what? Maybe I should have thought of this. Maybe I really seriously should have considered that he can take back this way, and it's not quite that horrible for black. There's also like c3, playing it like a c3 Sicilian. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if it was my own tournament game, to be honest, guys, I would play d5. But just because that seems like a Benoni, that's something that this particular player is more comfortable with, I decided to play d takes c5. But I don't think this is as good, objectively. Because he can still play... he can still play like d takes c5, which is probably better than the other line. Alright, whatever. I'll see what he does here, you know. I think that d takes c5 is better than queen takes c5, but queen takes c5 looks more like a normal Sicilian. That's what I was really aiming for, a good Sicilian where I can gain time on his queen. But the d takes c5, his queen remains on a5, like harassing my king, and I'm not quite sure. Okay, I mean, I'm better. Bishop e5 check, a la Magnus Carlsen. Something like d takes c5, bishop e5 check. Okay, this is just aggressive. Okay, crazy. He's being crazy. So check. Check and queen e2, I guess. Interesting though. It's not that bad out of hand, you know. He's not thinking, he's playing. No, he's playing too instantaneously. He didn't calculate. You gotta calculate, Acerbate. This knight is looking dubious. All I can just take on b7. Okay. He just dropped a piece. Acerbate, gotta calculate. No substitute for that, man. Your opening was interesting. It was kind of almost playable, but still, there's no substitute for just brute force calculation. d5 is a Benoni. Yeah, no doubt, like, the queen trade on d8 is better for white. I was really kind of content with that, but if I take on c5, queen a5 check, knight c3, d takes c5, that's his best chance. He just lost all of his pieces. Alright, it's over. Another experiment gone awry, but Acerbate has to learn. He has to learn to learn a real opening here. He's been neglecting learning a real opening against e4. I mean, he's playing the Sicilian, but he doesn't know more than the first couple moves. And it's ironic because he learned to play like a pretty legitimate setup against d4, but he still doesn't know the theory of the Sicilian, which is actually much more important because many more people play e4 than d4, honestly. At the like online lichess level. Objectively, if you look in Opening Explorer or whatever, it's gonna say that basically all these moves are comparable. Where's the mate? Oh no. Okay. Yeah, Asterbate. Come on, man. You got to learn a real opening here. You've got to learn how to play the black side of the Sicilian. You can't just wing it on move 3 or move 4. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Opening Explorer, e4 960,000, d4 760,000. This is not complete, you know, and I think if you had chess base or something, it would probably be closer to equal. But on internet chess sites, because the majority of players aren't like really studying and a lot of players don't have opening book knowledge, I think you see e4 much more commonly. It's like a 2-to-1 ratio. But for some reason Asterbate has dealt with d4 with his repertoire, but he hasn't really, you know, really thought out what to play against e4 as much. All right. Yeah, this turkey farm is saying nobody plays d4 at the 1800 to 1900 lichess level. Exactly. Like, you play in tournaments, it's ridiculous. I mean, in normal tournament chess, people start playing d4 at like 1300, you know. I mean, it's very strange that for some reason online it's so lopsided that e4 is so much more popular than d4. It will go a long way, Asterbate, if you really study the first 10 moves of the Sicilian and learn it, because you're just winging it on move 3 basically. There's only 2 games here. Actually, they're decent players who played this with black. Strangely, Sabo Gergo when he was young. All right, so the engine actually says my move, Queen A5 check. This is best. So I figure he takes with the pawn here. Stockfish claiming a massive advantage for white. Wow. So 95. 95 and then threatening Queen H5 or something like that. That's pretty amazing. I mean, here I was almost going to play like Bishop B5 check, which is really harmless. Is the Sicilian hard to learn? Well, actually, I don't think that it's technically the sharpest Soltigo, because you could go even more extreme with the Aliokin's defense or something like e4 knight f6. I would say that's actually the sharpest. So, you know, I think there's a like curve, you know, of the amount of hypermodernism, the range of how hypermodern different openings are. I mean, like the Aliokin's defense is the most extreme if you think about it. So, you know, that's going to be even have less margin for error than Sicilian. But Sicilian is pretty hard to play because you don't have, you're playing a dynamic imbalance type position where there isn't a lot of room for mistakes. All right, so Chestosterone. See, Arsenal is best at challenging me. I don't know if that's our Arsenal though. The ratings are kind of low. It can't be the same guy. Sorry for correcting you, Soltigo. I didn't mean to be like jumping on it, but I just wanted to make the point that, you know, okay, these less common openings like Aliokin's defense, modern defense, Pirt's, I think that's even more extreme. But I think Asterbate, you just need to memorize a little bit of theory there. Of course, it's not enough to memorize. You really need to understand the ideas behind it. But a little bit of memorization will go a long way. Just the first 5 or 6 moves. Not trying to memorize 10 or 20 moves of theory, just so you know, like, to get out of the first 5 or 6 moves. You get a basically sound position. Because you played knight c6 and knight takes d4, and you also have now played e6, allowing d takes c5. These are kind of like fundamentally dubious moves. e4, knight f6, bishop c4, knight takes e4, bishop takes f7, king takes f7, queen h5 check. That's interesting. Yeah, it's probably a good sideline to play, you know, until some level. e4, knight f6, bishop c4. What? I guess that's refuted by e6, but most people aren't gonna stop to really think about it. It's not refuted like it's winning or something. But okay, e4, knight f6, bishop c4, e6, e5, d5. E takes f6, d takes c4, f takes g7, bishop takes g7. You know, that kind of position is probably good for black. But very few people are going to have the forethought to really, you know, do that in the early stage. Trying to play the following setup I have here. Queen b6 check, winning a pawn is kind of a known idea, but he has d4. I don't know if I can get away with playing this down a tempo. This is a setup that's played with white normally against the Dutch, but I guess my point here is I have questions as to whether this is fundamentally as good when you're playing with a tempo less. I had a game against a Serbian guy who used to play the Smith-Morra, so I wanted to make a joke, and I played c3 against him. I was hoping for c3, e5, c4, so I could play the reverse side of the Smith-Morra. That's a kind of funny thing. But it ended up being a Dutch, because I played c3 and he played f5. Alright. Now here I saved the tempo. We haven't seen the panda today. Let me go get him. He's also suffering from chest lag. I almost played this last move when it would have been really silly. You know, now he's invested a move on d3. Arsenal is best. As someone who once regularly played the birds, the weak square is the e3 square. Arsenal is best. You're not Arsenal fan, right? You're not the same person. So I have seen this pawn sacrifice in action, but not really like this position. I don't think that black has enough or white has enough compensation here. I've seen some examples of the sacrifice with colors reversed actually working. Let me go get the chess panda. Man, it's been raining constantly here, and gotta keep the window closed, and it's like stuffy, hard to breathe. Okay, so yeah, you gotta give him a little bit of like, okay, compensation of some kind. We don't have a lot of development, obviously.
Hey, I know it's time to play h5. Okay, there it goes. As soon as I get here, I'm ready to play h5. And there it is. The h-pawn should go. And after knight f5, of course, we're playing that follow-up with the h-pawn and the king's still there, so we can play h5 with the rook behind.
Okay, whatever you say. No, seriously, Panda's he's actually right. This might make some sense here. What's up, Panda? Good to have you on the stream here. I was actually thinking of that, but is it too risky? You know, I mean, I have no development. My king's gonna need the castle. We're probably gonna have to think about bailing on the h5 idea. Actually, give the bear a waffle. The bear didn't get breakfast this morning. So Panda, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to bail on that. That's just too much here. We can't leave the king in the center. It's justified by the piece configuration to play h5, but I think it would just neglect the safety of my king. We're gonna be better off just castling. We really can't castle queenside with this open b file, or I mean, if we do, we'd have to be very careful long term. Oh my goodness, I missed this move entirely. So knight takes e3 is on, but he has queen e2, which I overlooked. We could nah, never mind. I mean, yeah, you could sack a knight takes check. No, that's not happening. All right. I mean, I do have queen c5 actually. Then d4 will be with tempo. So he's got some compensation here. Sladger the badger. We don't need any more animals. Alright. Queen c5. Am I pushing the proverbial envelope too much here? Why didn't I just go to a5 in the first place, actually? Wait, where did my queen come from? It was on b6. So it's like ironic, like after this, maybe, like, yeah. Instead of going to c7 in the first place, I should just go to a5. I thought, oh, it's more safe. Knight plays knight b3. Now I have lots of squares. I mean, this should be okay. The dark squares just are constantly weak. I could play knight e3. I didn't think it works. I know I could play knight e3. But the problem is queen e2. Then it's a double attack, and I don't have a good discovery because my queen is attacked. So there's a hole in that theory. After rook b1, knight takes e3, queen e2, and if you see a good move there, let me know. Because I think I'm losing a piece. There's a slight problem. So you can play it, but I think it would lose a piece. Alright, there goes that. Now we actually have 93, according to legend. Queen we can always fianchetto. There's nothing like a fianchettoed queen. That's good. Now he's just down a pawn with slight developmental compensation. That was the first thing I looked at, Arsenal. I would love to play 93. Leela is a sign from God. Well, I don't know. I haven't checked any of its games lately. Is that a game? Oh, Z-Fox just threw that in there. It's a Leela. Oh, defensive game by Leela with the brilliant queen a5 maneuver. Interesting chess is still viable. We don't have to play like Magnus. There was a good tournament recently, I guess, like the Russian Super Final. I want to check out some games from that. The only thing going on at the moment that I was interested in. I guess it's like over or finishing right about now. But there's always really good games in the Russian Championship. I mean, it's such a high quality of play. I'd rather, watch a tournament like that than the St. Louis. Because the players are really fighting. They're not this, like, ultra elite players who are spoiled and stuff. Okay, but anyway, that's what's on the chess menu in the next weeks. I mean, the World Championship will come up not that long into the future, I guess. It'll be interesting to see how Caruana does. I keep saying, like, well, if Karyakin almost drew or beat Magnus, then Caruana certainly should have a chance too, right? Knight takes c2, rook e2, goodbye. We have this, though. So Chesstosterone, we have an interesting move here, bishop h3 check. Doesn't really do anything. The temptation is strong to make this kind of move that, it's like a fancy move that doesn't do anything. I could actually get in big trouble here after f5. But again, I have the queen back. I'm sure that I could have played this better. Alexander Ivanov's favorite square. Oh my gosh. Nothing like the modern defense player in playing queen g7. You love to do that. So Grishuk of the Sinkfield. Well, I still think my favorite was Grishuk against Nakamura, which was just a really instructive game. Now he's got very serious compensation here. Welcome everybody to my chess stream. International Master William Paschall. We're playing Blitz and Rapid Chess with the subscribers and viewers here. All right, now you're gone. Get out from the house. And this is actually a very good move for me. It takes the pressure off of b7, and I'm gonna fianchetto, or possibly even bishop a6 in some positions. But first of all, we have to be a little bit careful with tactics. It's not that easy. Right, this guards against knight c5, but he can play e5 now. Then I can have to go back to f8. So this is a little awkward. But I mean, we have two advantages. We're up a pawn and we have a better structure. So at the end of the day, I mean, even though I'm a little bit passive here, he was actually threatening rook takes b6 there, which I didn't even think about. White's position is not as sound. The knight versus bishop endgame was also nice. What are you talking about? What knight versus bishop endgame? I don't know which game you're talking about, Nils. From the Sinkfield thing. I didn't see all the games. I just saw a handful. I didn't really want to do any videos or any kind of serious analysis of that tournament because it's like overly trendy and I don't like supporting Sinkfield and St. Louis chess really. But nevertheless, it's a strong tournament. I can't ignore it. It exists. Alright, Chesstosterone here. Now he's ready to play like 94. still, if I go bishop e7, he has knight takes c5. That's the tactic. He has it now too, which is really irritating. I can't play bishop a6. So we just have to go here, I guess. He threatened to play bishop c6 to try to simplify. We're winning eventually. Well, that's a strong knight. It's a strong bishop too, actually, though. So I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, even trading that off. Wow, okay. He's in too much of a hurry here. Oh, Karyak in Rapid, I forgot all about the Rapid and Blitz. I didn't even, like, count that. Yeah. Well, one of my colleagues brought up the idea that it's kind of strange to have the Blitz and Rapid first, and I agree. You know, I mean, you'd really think that the players would enjoy it better to have the Rapid and Blitz like after the pressure of the main event is over. But I think for the sake of the spectators, they have the Rapid and Blitz in the beginning before the main tournament, so that it keeps everyone's attention. If the main tournament's over, people might be less inclined to think about it. They keep you prisoner until the main event happens. But I think it would have been better for people like Nakamura to play the Blitz and Rapid after, because it seemed like he didn't. Do we have any subscribers left? No. All right. It seems like he didn't play well, Hikaru, because maybe he loses his pace or something. He's playing the main tournament like he was playing Blitz. His game against Grishuk, especially bad. All right, Arsenal is best. No relation to Arsenal fan Richard, who's one of our subscribers for a long time. All Irish people like dark beers. Is that the implication? So d4. Guinness is definitely an acquired taste. All right, I like it, but I can see people not really being into it. d4 knight f6, c4 e6. So the Nimzo Indian. He didn't answer when I asked if he was the same person as the other player, but his rating's kind of too low. So I started with subscribers. You're welcome, Turkey Farm. And then we'll take the rest of the challenges. If I get more subscribers, we'll put them first in the list. We had some new subscribers lately, which is cool. Okay, here we have a lot of choices, different setups to play. I like to go with this kind of Nimzovich, generally, Nimzovich type of setup. This is a very modest move for white, kind of passive with the bishop e2. But nevertheless, his position is still inherently sound. So who said that Belgian beers are the best? Scoble. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Scoble. So we were drinking, not me, but we were buying a lot of my family. What is the beer now? I'm trying to remember. A Belgian beer. I can't remember. In the U.S., actually. Belgian wheat beer. Why can't I remember this? I'm losing my mind. I have Alzheimer's. Who's leaving? Soltigo. Okay, go get some rest. We'll see you tomorrow for the viewer tournament. That'll be an easier stream for you to make it. Tomorrow night, guys, I'm hosting a viewer tournament stream. I just basically gonna host a rapid tournament, 7+2 arena here. Maybe I should play knight e4 while I still can. No, the problem is, okay, knight e4, queen c2, f5, and then he moves his knight somewhere. But this will be a standard position. There's also knight e1. See, that might even be more accurate. Maybe you can sacrifice the pawn on c3. Arsenal. Is he the other Arsenal? He won't answer. Knight d2. This is basically very close to Rubinstein versus Nimzovich. Their famous, one of their famous games. It's also close to another game I had against somebody else here. You almost have e5 tactically, but it's like e5, take, bishop takes f5. He can actually play that. And now rook takes f5, queen takes f5, queen takes d2, and then something like rook to d1, which probably is losing for me because I'm getting mated with rook to d8. So that's what I mean by calculation, for example, acerbate here. You can't play e5 based on, oh, intuition. You cannot make this move until you can say, okay, I'm going to calculate concretely what happens after e5, de, bishop takes f5, rook takes f5, queen takes f5, queen takes d2, rook d1, queen takes c3, rook d8, mate. You know, this is an example of a position where there just is no substitute for concrete calculation. You can't just say, okay, e5 feels like the right move. I mean, very few people can play on feel at that kind of level. How about queen g5, e4, queen g6? He has like no, I'm just gonna play this. Who was it that I had a very, very similar line against? There was one player who played 2 games with me in the spring in a very similar variation. But it wasn't a subscriber, it was another player. But there they would have played e4. You know, e4 is actually critical. It's like Capablanca versus Tartakover, another famous game. Rook fe1. Now I can play different things. White sort of missed the opportunity to play the most aggressive continuation there. Still, I'm not sure what my best is. I still don't have e5, do I? The downstairs neighbor, or the other side of the building, actually, it's not a neighbor, it's like in the next building. They're constructing something and there's this like drilling sound. It's very difficult to hear it. It's like a dull noise, but it's kind of weird sounding and annoying. Queen h4, perhaps. This will guard h7. You guys probably can't hear that. Wait, isn't e5, bishop takes f5, end of calculation? Well, I mean, you've got to look at stuff, you know. How can you say that? I mean, you could have bishop takes g2, for example. Just to throw something out there, but let's think about bishop takes g2 in that variation. I mean, that could be very strong, blowing up his whole king side. Bishop takes g2, king takes g2, queen g5, check, followed by taking on f5 with a better structure. You know, just to throw out one idea. If you don't look for opportunistic tactics like that, you're going to be missing a lot of chances. So d5 now. Alright. We're looking for opposite color bishop type scenarios here. He plays a little like the real Arsenal fan. I don't have any forced win or anything like that. We could go nuts, though. Is it justified? Wow, he just instantly took that. Wow. This is going to lead to insanity. At least all of our pieces are in the game. There's all sorts of good ideas now. He defended against the threat. He reminds me of the actual Arsenal fan. I think it probably is him. He's too similar stylistically. The speed also. It's Arsenal's new account. I don't know, maybe it's possible. It's not a new account though. I guess everyone who's an Arsenal fan plays similarly. No, but he freaked out. Too fast. Played too fast there at the end. Okay, Mershad. Reminded me of the games with Arsenal fan, because he does the same thing where he plays fast and sometimes plays too quick. Also playing the same type of setups with d4. But I believe you. You're not the same guy. Alright, Mershad, 1480. So he's legitimately 1400. You never know what you're going to get when you check somebody's rating. I see this 2088. I'm like, okay, he's 2088. Anyway, guys, I'm back to European stream schedule. So we're going to be doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the morning, and then 10 a.m.-ish. Thinking about moving it half an hour later. Let me know if you guys have an opinion on that. Would you prefer 10:30 to 10? I would think everybody would be agreeable to that. Excuse me. But I'm not convinced I'm going to do it yet. We'll see. This is just a sort of strange move. I mean, bishop c5 seems inappropriate. I could certainly play a tempo up in a Catalan now. Pretty popular, this Arsenal. There must be at least 10 Arsenal fans. That's for sure. But they're not watching my stream, you know. Alright. Meerkat Manor. What is this? The old bishop a3. If it was a higher rated player, I would be seriously in consideration of doing that. But here, I mean, I don't really want to trade pieces. If my opponent is 1,000 points lower, generally not the right idea. Of course, there is a sense here that my position is not that promising. You know, I play kind of passively with b3, bishop b2. So, generally you want to put the knight on c3 in the Catalan to get a more aggressive type of setup. In this case, black played tempo down. He played bishop c5, bishop back to e7. So you'd think that white would get an advantage even with the more passive setup. But I'm not so convinced. You know, this looks very, very solid for black. In fact, it feels like a main line. Now this move is asking a little bit too much. He's really, really pushing the envelope with c5 here. Wow. I mean, I guess I don't have any direct refutation of this move. In fact, taking knight takes c5, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Man, can just do that? Doesn't seem fair. I guess I could have played e4. No, e3 is too passive, Turkey Farm. You don't want to play passively. In which position? The old plan. Well, it's not really a plan. It's just like the most natural place to put your pieces. I wouldn't go as far as to call it a plan. But this guy's already concerning me. He's too solid for 1480. Okay, he lost the tempo, but it doesn't seem like he's paying for it. Now I almost have to take on d5. 95 maybe? He stopped e4 cold. I decided to change plans here. e3 restricts the knight on d7. Does what? I don't understand. What do you mean by that? Okay, you mean that, okay, the pawn on d4 is restricting the knight on d7, sure. I understand that, but we have bigger problems. Like, if you don't do something, he's just gonna have like rook c8 and you're gonna be uncomfortable, you know? And that's the problem with this passive type of approach with knight on bd2 and bishop b2 and what have you. You know, it just leads us to a kind of passive situation. This guy's already playing good for 1400. Might as well just offer a draw now. Alright. 1300 in bullet. I'm gonna have to play like queen b1 and evacuate from the c file. Black's fully equal here. He has a little problem with his queen as well. He can actually do here queen e8 or maybe something like queen b8. Actually, queen b8. Yeah, queen b8 might be, either of these moves might be reasonable. Or he can try to do the traditional here. Queen c8 is a bit unusual because he's on the c file now. Not a terrible move, of course. Yeah, good call, Turkey Farm. But I don't like my position. It's too passive. Just totally unambitious. But I mean, you know, now he plays queen e8. This is a subtle move for a 1400 or a player who's like 1300 to be playing. Whatever. I'm not going to continue to be paranoid. Whatever. I mean, that's the problem when I play random people. We'll just accept it. A little too deep for 1300s to maneuver queen e8. Knight g5. Thirteen hundreds don't maneuver queen e8 in the black side of the Catalan and play like perfectly with no structural weaknesses. Thank God it's not a rated game, because I definitely would lose. We can do some weakness here, but I still don't really have any advantage. I'm just gonna play it safe. Yeah, they just start playing like 2200 out of nowhere. Wonder why. That's why I prefer to really play with subscribers. The people who do that are gonna be like legit, and they're not gonna let anybody else play for them. And the people who are just random, they're like looking for attention, and oftentimes, you know, they want to look cool by beating a strong player, so they'll resort to different ways. But this guy, if he's 1300, I mean, then I want to sponsor him in some kind of prize tournament, because he's got an overwhelmingly solid approach to the game. I mean, he'd have to be like outright horrible tactically to be 1300. Maybe I really have a shot here. This doesn't work. This just doesn't work. E4, knight takes e4. Knight takes e4, knight takes e4. Wait. E4, knight takes e4. Knight takes e4. I don't know what I'm thinking about. In order for him to be 13 or 1400, he'd have to be like absolutely horrible tactically, because his fundamental game is, it's just too sound and too solid. There's no way you could be this rating without just dropping pieces almost every other game. Now I almost had something, but he's defended that as well. I'll check him out. Looks like he's in trouble now, but he's not. He's not really. He found a defense to that as well. He's still fine. It's hard to win when you don't. The guy doesn't have any weaknesses. You know, he created no weaknesses. A slight weakening over here, but that's. I'm not really poised to take advantage of that. Yeah, he's way too good for 1480. He's like the same rating as Acerbate, but Acerbate makes mistakes, you know, and this guy doesn't. It's one thing to have talent, but it's another thing, you know, to not make any mistakes. You can have talent, you can play some good games, but you can't just not make mistakes. And it's normal. Wasn't really the best move by me. And this guy is supposed to be 1300 in bullet chess. We have a very small advantage. Not a very exciting game, obviously. It's like Black's just trying to play as solid as physically possible. So testosterone, you always try to get cool positions to do interesting things. Well, I mean, you know, we see that with Soltigo as well. You know, he messes around a lot trying to do the same thing. Now, do I have anything? Yes. We should have something now, though he's still holding. He's still holding with e5 here. And finally, he came undone tactically. But it was just extremely unusual to see such solid play from someone. Really, I mean, I think he was fine until move, what, 20 or something at least. Played knight g5, I have like a small advantage. Now here he played g6, which wasn't necessary. If you look at this position, h6 is less weakening. This is probably very critical. Right now, it's like a subtle mistake, but a g6 weakens his kingside, and that ended up being like the only really tangible weakness he had in his position that I could exploit. So Turkey Farm, to answer your question, it's hard because I don't, you know, intimately know your play that well. Even though we've played, you know, numerous games, I'm playing so many different players all the time. I'd really have to sit down and take a look at your games to get back to you. Send me a message, you know, and remind me on lichess, and if you want, I'll take a more serious look at it off stream, okay? Because it's just hard for me to answer that question, and you've been a regular subscriber, so I'm happy to, you know, try to help you out. Okay, Baleful Ananas is here. Ananas, we'll see if he's a subscriber. Let me know if anybody's a subscriber. Scoble is a subscriber. He just subscribed, I believe. So let me know if you guys subscribe and want to play. Sorry, we had a chair issue. Because I don't know off the top of my head, Turkey Farm. I haven't been really, you know, looking at your games in a constructive way that I can just answer that question. It's too hard. I mean, I can think about the last game we played, but I mean that's not enough information. One bird's opening, you know. I'd have to really think about it. Okay, so Scoble. Reminds me of. So it's been a while since I had this. It's actually a Caro Kann, so it's not really a normal Black Mardemer. I mean, I don't play c6 against the Black Mardemer. If I was playing the Caro Kann more regularly, I'd probably look at this. I remember I had this game against the book dealer who was like 1900, 25 years ago, some tournament. But c6 is probably like the Yasser Seirawan move. Bishop g4, bishop takes f7, check. So I mean, it's like not good to play g6 now. e6 and c6 is too passive together. I've lost my ability to play c5. I mean, this is obviously okay for black, but I guess you have to know what you're doing. It looks like the only thing that makes sense is bishop f5. But I'm a little concerned about that as well. Bishop f5, knight e5, e6 castles. This looks kind of scary. And then the point of e6 would be to play for c5. If I play e6 now, I just have this stupid passive position. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do. B5, B4. That's sort of weird. I mean, it's possible to play B5, B4. Let's do it. Pretty crazy. I feel like the position is almost like a semi-Slav. You could try to pretend it's a semi-Slav. Don't try this at home, okay? Because this is not really safe, kids. Maybe you should actually play bishop d3. No, bishop b3. If I play b4 right away, knight a4. You can also play knight e2. a5, of course. Wait, I'm in Scoble. What? You're in Scoble and my computer preparation? C6 is recommended the most in repertoire books. Wait, against the Blackmore-Deemer? Like, statistically, it has a terrible score, probably. It's just a not very active defense for black. I wouldn't want to go there voluntarily. You know, I only play this if I have to, because of the move order. I'll have to look into that, but I'm just making this up on the fly, Nils. Maybe it's actually black's best, but it's, for me, very unnatural to play like this. But I guess it might make some sense. I wouldn't have done it otherwise. But I have no idea what I'm doing now. I mean, obviously you can play knight e5 at any moment, which is going to be huge. Bishop a6, knight e5, e6, queen f3, queen b6, and I'm scared. So white has the initiative there. The knight e5 is a serious threat, and I don't have... I didn't play bishop f5. Yeah, but bishop f5, okay, it's dangerous. We're playing something else now. The semi-Slav style. But Scoble I've never played before. It's a new subscriber to the stream. These guys who play the Blackmore-Deemer usually know their stuff. And they can take out masters. Because this opening is totally dangerous if you're not prepared. There was this crazy guy at the Marshall Chess Club. He was like 1800. And he used to regularly beat like 2200s. Only in this opening and like nothing else. A3, E6. You can memorize it pretty far, you know. A lot of the lines in the Blackmore-Deemer. And if you're decent tactically, you can just crush people. So now knight g5 becomes an idea. Some kind of other attacking plans. Bishop b7. Seems weird to do that. What am I supposed to do here? Queen b6. Queen b6, knight e5 anyway. You know, this knight e5 is going to be always scary. Pretty much. Scary position. I have to just make up something. If you play routine moves here, I think you're going to die. I don't know. This looks like a typical routine move. Ah, that is sad. What? Because of him, I stopped playing the Sicilian? Nils, you're talking about this guy? What are you talking about? This particular opponent? Like, you know him? Or are you just on a conversation I'm missing the thread of? Right, the other thing was like rook a7 might have been a defensive idea laterally, you know, in some positions. By playing this, I'm taking that away from myself. I mean, this feels like a solid move, but at the same time, it's a passive move. And, you know, if I have my druthers, I'd rather put it on d6. Druthers. Castling into the attack looks dangerous. Yeah, he's a friend of yours. Okay. Yeah, this is dangerous, man. I mean, you make one mistake and you're done in these kind of openings. Objectively, maybe it's not that great for white, but in a practical game. So the sacrifice will come at some point soon. Well, alright, I just don't want to get into ridiculous time pressure here. Bishop takes e6. We can probably deal with that. Queen g3. We can think about what to do. Castle. I think I have to castle now. I mean, I'm just losing the exchange. It's not so clear. Yeah, I'm losing the exchange. Alright, I can lose an exchange. I don't care about that. I care, but I mean, I do have knight h5 in the event of bishop h6. Maybe. This looks incredibly dangerous for black. Probably I'm lost. Someone else says I'm supposed to play e5. Yeah, Tech Gambino. I know that rook a7 Mora idea exists. But it's also so many weird Sicilians you can play that. The Najdorf, there's even a variation. An old one, I think, in the Sozin. Okay, here he finally made a mistake. Though it's still kind of scary for me. Kind of. We have two pawns, but he's got initiative for the two pawns. Very, very lucky, though, that he even gave me that. He could have played bishop h6 strongly, most likely. Wait, what's going on here? Okay, b4. No. Now it's just a blitz game where I'm two pawns up. He has the compensation for one pawn. The second pawn wasn't really, you know, what he wanted to do. Oh my god. He's gonna just flag me. Still has some compensation. A fierce attacking player. Found a defense to that too. Rook h4, play for mate or something. Yeah. This was not a pleasant experience. This was not a pleasant experience at all. I mean, I'm probably lost at some point. I'd be surprised if I wasn't lost at some point. Berkesh, a very old Berkesh game. Fatso was like really young. I played him in 1997 as well. I actually made my first I am Norm in the same year, beating him in the end of an important tournament. This was probably played in Ketchkemet in 1997. Yeah, actually, Scoble was winning twice. Queen c7, which was overlooked, and this final blunder here. He's actually better now. I missed bishop takes d5. After this move, I'm in big trouble. So he takes and then plays rook e5. My queen is nearly trapped. That's super scary. So it was a really crazy game. I don't like the opening. Yes, so Nils, I can still play you. We've got time for at least 2 more games. I just wanted to see that opening. So f3. So bishop g4 there is actually the most common move. That's interesting. I just routinely played knight f6. So Gareev actually does this on a regular basis. That's fine for blindfold simuls. Come on, man. Knight f6 here. And I was supposed to play bishop f5. I was concerned about the obvious line, like knight e5, e6, castles. Thinking like, somehow this is interesting. Why not? Bishop takes c2. Tn. I wasn't sure about this. I figure I need to have some knowledge of this position. Apparently it's okay for black. Okay. Alright, so our subscribers get first preference here. Nils, we're going to play him next. Ananas, I don't know, what about you? I don't know if Ananas is a subscriber, but he is an old friend of the stream. You guys aren't forced to subscribe, obviously. But I would take the non-subscribers in order. You know, in other words, if Ananas is not a subscriber, I'll play Baleful next. You just gotta have some order in the courtroom. Alright, so Nils, I've been playing the Nimzo a lot. I don't really have a good alternative here, though. In this particular order of moves, I have no choice. You have lots of games. What's that? Oh, how can I play against you, Mr. Robot? Okay, let's play something different. I've been playing the b6. I'm getting kind of predictable there. Alright, he probably knows this better, though, on the downside. Let's just castle. Or do you want to play bishop takes c5? They're both moves. I'll play like this Chom variation. Chom Istvan. So now a6. We tried to play like a hedgehog. Would have induced him to play e3, and his bishop can't come out to these more active squares. I don't know where the theory stands on this now. It was played for a while, but you know, it's probably not that great for black, like most things. Should I play bishop e7 or queen c7? This move seems more natural. We have to reorganize. Maybe bishop e7? I don't know. Anyway, that's going to get attacked. We're in full hedgehog mode. Oh, Ananas is a sub. Okay, we'll take him next. He was a sub all along. He didn't just sub. Alright, thanks for letting me know, man, because I wasn't sure. Good to see you, though. Hopefully you can play more often. You know, that we're back in the European time zone. This is one of Black's more solid types of setups against the Nimzo. Still White's better. And I don't know the theory precisely enough. I would be a little concerned if I were to play this against a GM or something, that I might not be really well prepared enough to play the move order quite precisely for Black. But I've always, you know, loved playing the black side of the hedgehog. And we have knight c5 with the idea of knight e4. Of course, there's no rush. If knight c5, you can play knight d4. Anyway, it seems okay. Anyway, guys, I'm finishing up soon. So the last game will, you know, maybe we'll have, well, I don't know, one more game at the most. But I wouldn't be able to play, you know, that guy. It would be like baleful if anybody, unless there's some other player who's a subscriber that I don't, you know, I'm not aware of. Bishop f4 instead of knight f3 is recommended move order for White. Right. Well, that's exactly like right. Like that's one of the reasons why this move is probably maybe recommended. You know, it's like a little more sharp, perhaps. It's a recommended move. It's not clear. Bishop g5, you know, loses to bishop takes f2 check, so that's not an option. There's nothing wrong with knight f3, though. I mean, JCS. Depends on whose recommendation you're going by, I guess. But you're usually, you know, really well. Both of you and Nils are players who are really paying attention to opening theory. If I castle right away, I wonder about knight g5. Kind of like the game I had. No. Well, there's like castles, knight g5, h6, knight d5. But it's not convincing, right? Castles, knight g5, h6, knight d5 or knight b5. Then I take, then he takes on f6, then I take on g5. So he can't do that. So I can castle. What happened? He didn't make a move. Oh my god, I thought he made a move. I'm thinking about making 2 moves in a row. Alright. Never mind. Yeah, if you subscribe, of course, you guys... I can't guarantee if you subscribe everybody can play, because we may not have enough time. But, I mean, it's most likely when people are subscribers, they usually get to play. If you watch the stream in its entirety. Then also you can try to come, you know, if you know when the schedule is, you can try to come earlier, and then you almost certainly get to play. I try not to neglect the subscribers. Knight f3, b3, bishop e2. Yeah, it's very solid for White. This is basically like a Queen's Gambit accepted type of structure, and it's very solid. So I guess this was the move I expected. I can trade pieces, which is more or less what I should do. I can like literally force a draw by repetition with knight takes e4. Rook d3, knight c5, rook c3, knight e4. Bishop takes might have been a good move there. No, he just plays queen c3. Okay, I'm not sure actually. I mean, both recaptures were possible. I guess I expected him to play bishop d3. Looks like he just panicked with bishop f3. I know that it's awkward to play rook d3. Let's see though. I mean, I'd still do it though rather than lose the exchange. I don't see that black has any sort of refutation. You know, we're just winning in exchange here. And trading a lot of pieces at the same time, which is good, you know. So he has to, for better or for worse, play rook d3. This game should be over. We might have time for 2 more games. We'll see. I can run a couple minutes late, but not a lot, you know. I don't want to be more than 10 minutes behind schedule. Plus my mind melts down after like 2.5 hours. I start getting this, what I call fog, brain fog. And I was looking up what causes that, and people, and in the internet it says anxiety. But I knew one of my students who said he was getting a lot of brain fog, and he said it was due to, like he contracted, what do you call it, Lyme disease, and that's kind of scary. Alright, so here, b5. But I don't know, you know, I have no reason to suspect I have Lyme disease, though I have been in a lot of areas where ticks are present. This is getting to be a weird conversation. I see, that's the other thing I do when I'm getting tired after 2.5 hours. I start talking about all kinds of random stuff. But I'm just thinking I'm getting kind of foggy brained at this point. All right, Nils resigned. Yeah, but let's see the analysis board for just a second, just to see if JCS is on the money with the recommendation here. So takes, knight f3. Knight f3 is the main move by far. But that doesn't mean that JCS is wrong. The bishop f4 has a better score. It's like 41% against 38. So with bishop f4 you can prevent this plan basically. I get a brain fog if I play some game before chess. Yeah, g4, it's exactly JCS. That's the way like Bareyev would play, you know, in some lines. They're dangerous castling long plans. White should maintain the flexibility as far as where he puts his king, to try to make that kind of dynamic possibility exist. Now we're black against Ananas, and we played them a lot. I don't know what to do with him. Thought I had an idea a while back, but alright, we'll just go to our battleground in the King's Indian, I guess. He's playing c4. c4, e6, g3. Alright, we'll play this. He plays g3. And what was I thinking now? c5. We've had a lot of those, which is not anything. Alright, I gotta play my solid stuff here. Like my stream is relaxing. That's cool. I try to be. Sometimes I feel like it's not relaxing for me, but people claim that I'm mellow. Sometimes I get kind of angry. The angry streams, especially when I do simuls. Yesterday was pretty cool though. It was good. We do a simul every Sunday. I had no reason to be angry. I like get in time pressure in 20 games and start getting mad, but no, it was good. So anyways, I'm moved to Budapest from the United States for a month and a half, and I'm going to be streaming at these times: 10 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then 6:30 in the evening, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. If you guys subscribe or watch the stream regularly, you might want to know this. I'm never really sure what's the best way to play this pseudo bogo, you know. I mean, I'm just really on my own here. I think we had a game exactly like this once. The pseudo bogo, but I mean, where do you even like go to like get any information on an obscure opening like this? He hasn't played knight f3, so it's not a bogo Indian. It's like a sort of Catalan. I guess, what's it, JCS is the Catalan guy too. And he studies a lot of opening books. And Ananas knows his stuff. So we have a number of players in the stream who are quite, passionate about playing the opening well. Ananas, I think, is a really good Catalan player. JCS studies a lot, and Nils is also interested in playing the openings precisely. So I'm not a guy who focuses that much on opening play, but I do, I want to learn. I want to learn to play the openings as well as I possibly can, and I always have. But I've never been a player who focused, put the emphasis on openings. So I don't know as much theory as some titled players. E4, E5. I've kind of done this strategy in the last 15 years, where more or less a lot of different stuff, not specializing one opening, but playing different stuff and kind of keeping people off balance by not surprising them or just trying to find their weaknesses, rather than just playing a set repertoire. Ananas, you're a guy who plays the repertoire. The set repertoire. Now, knight f3 is weird because it's allowing knight takes e4 here. Knight takes e4 would force him to play bishop takes b4, a takes b, and then he can just take on e5 or try the more sharp queen e2. I mean, I can give the pawn back, and that's the thing. If we look at knight takes e4, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen e2, knight f6, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, queen takes e5 check, queen e7 is probably equal for black. And then again, if I don't play queen e7 or knight e7, let's say I just castle here. Bishop takes b4, a takes b, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, rook e8. Then he has f4. That's pretty unpleasant. I might really be losing a pawn there, so I'm not sure I can just castle here. Castles, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, bishop takes. No, castles, he trades bishop first, and then he takes. But actually there again I can play knight takes e4 right away. Let's see yet another variation that's interesting. I might end up losing pawns to things like queen e1, forking my b4 pawn and my knight on e4. So bishop g4, yet another idea. Then there's queen a4 check, bishop d7. So there's just so many questions and not too many answers. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I mean, there's lots of possibilities here for black. But knight bd7 is passive, knight c6. Okay, let's try this, taking the pawn. Whatever. It's the most principled move. Queen e7 mentioned. Okay? Queen e7 is certainly playable. But if I could take this pawn, oh, it's 4 a.m. for Arsenal is best. Wow. So Arsenal is in the Western Hemisphere, which we didn't expect. Football is getting more popular in general, but he just takes right away. Do we have any issues here? I like the fact that we opened our A file, and that's cool. We castle. The question is castle or take. And I guess castles is more safe. You could just take, that was my original variation. I don't really mind that endgame. But I don't know, this is okay as well. Maybe future knight h4, knight f5 though, of course. I mean, that idea will always come in for white. I've had a lot of battles with Ananas in the King's Indian Fianchetto variation, and it's become kind of a problem. We were talking about that with JCS, who's in the discussion now, and I just didn't feel like going there today. This is a little bit lower stress. playing e6 in general is lower stress. I mean, if we start from this position, the Indian defense, you know, g6 is much higher stress because you're giving white the center essentially. I mean, it's going to be a much tougher game. I don't think I think I recommend this for more advanced players. You know, try to play Grunfeld or King's Indian. E6 is a safer move in general. And my normal like safer move is for stronger opponents. But anyways, here we are. What if I just play knight c6? Wouldn't that make sense to develop my pieces here? Now he has queen e2, however. And we could get pinned on the d file. So in other words, knight c6, queen e2, move the knight to c5, and then rook d1. Kind of an unpleasant situation. If we take, he's got the diagonal looking really dangerous. Perhaps we can compromise. The idea is knight takes e5, queen e7. Or something along those lines. Queen f6 is also possible. Queen f6 is... I feel like I'm playing the... What am I doing though? I mean, he has knight takes f7 in that line. It's relevant like where I go. There's some scary variations like queen f6, knight takes f7. Queen takes b2, queen d5. No, there. Yeah, I'm a little tired for that. Okay, whatever. I don't think he's going to go into that. I mean, he doesn't really like crazy tactical lines. He likes more controlled chess like me. If he plays knight takes f7, we have all sorts of weird possibilities that might turn the initiative against him. I mean, even like bishop e6 or something. I mean, black could play any number of moves. This is what you got to calculate. Kiss, 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 hissy, hissy. No. Kitty, kitty, hiss, hiss. What's up? I'm sorry, your name is just tough for me to say. But yeah, I remember you. Thanks for joining us. Queen f6. I feel like the e4 pawn existing helped black's position turkey farm. I think you'd be right and wrong at the same time. It opens the bishop on g2, but it also creates kind of lasting spatial advantage for white in the center. So I completely understand what you mean. Alright, now this move. Things are getting weird. No, but seriously now. I didn't see this. We have to play like really actively here. Come on, Ananas. Give me a break. Don't make me play too tactically. Wow, I could sack an exchange on d3. I'll get mated at the end of the day. There's problems with like rook e1, knight d6, c5. I've already seen all this and then decided that it's crazy, it's chaos. I'm not sure who it actually favors. Rook e1, knight d6, c5, knight c4, bishop takes b7, rook a7, and then we're getting counterplay against b2. I mean, he may end up like freeing all my pieces for me in a weird way if he does something like bishop takes b7. There's also just rook e1, queen d4, which was my standby. Getting our pieces out. Kiss, I can't say it. Kitty kitty hiss hiss just donated tier 1 sub to Fate. Well, thank you. You've actually given 2 gift subs. Yeah, so here we are. Yeah, well anyway, I mean, regardless of whatever you want to say, knight d6 is a passive move, so screw that. I'm not going to play that unless I have to. We've got enough time for maybe one more game. That would be baleful. Murderous Spartan, what's up? Thank you guys for watching today. We've had a couple donations for Chess Patzer, Cash, Maui, Acerbate. Still got a lot of viewers. More viewers at this time. Still considering moving the streams half an hour forward. How you guys feel about that, let me know. I really don't see people objecting. I mean, it seems like it would only be better for everyone. The question is, for me, is it better? Alright, getting complicated. I think that Ananas may have lost his mind. Like, forgetting that F2 is open? This is too good to be true. I don't have anything here. Well, I mean, I'm just taking on B2, aren't I? I mean, is my queen trapped or something? Maybe Ananas just woke up. Similar to me. Looks scary. Looks scarier for white now. I mean, this is game over. And then he's just losing the rook on A1. I mean, I could simply take on B4 with the pawn up here, if you want me to. Or we can take the greedy route. Greedy and good. I mean, come on. I gotta take this exchange. White has nothing. He's just lost. We'll see. Thanks, Acerbate, for being so flexible. I appreciate you guys, especially in the US, hanging out on my stream because I know it's late there. Alright, last game for today. We're going to play Baleful, 7+3. Alright. I'm getting brain fog. I didn't eat a big breakfast today, guys, just a pastry. I'm going to get some lunch. Get some energy going on. So I'll win super fast. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. What do we got? E5 is that's the Vacher-Lagrave system. G6 is interesting. It transposes to a accelerated dragon. Marazzi. What am I talking about? Oh my god. No, it doesn't. See, that's what happens when you get brain fog. This is actually dangerous. I mean, it shouldn't be bad for white, but a lot of people play these positions badly. The safest move is E3. Yeah, I was thinking stupidly. So, I should play E3. I'm just tired. Never mind. He played D6, so that's fortunate. Now we got a Marazzi. It's actually a Rubinstein English reversed. Of course, bishop takes c3 is the key line. Now this is key line pi. I'm getting hungry, man. F5. All right, that's a psycho-aggressive move. It's interesting, you know, definitely playable and sharp. But I mean, I've played this with black, this structure with black so much, and with white. You know, anytime you do F5, it's going to be very double-edged. Bishop takes c3 would have been the critical continuation, no doubt. Should I play bishop e2 or bishop e3? d3 or bishop e2? Trading the white square bishops makes some sense. You know, in general, when you have more space, you probably don't want to trade pieces. But I think here he has a concrete weakness on the white squares. So that's what makes chess hard, essentially. The reason why chess is such a difficult game isn't about calculation, but it's about the fact that you have these competing principles and then deciding like which of them is more important. I could make an argument that, oh, I'm white, I have more space, I should not trade pieces. Then again, there's this consideration that I just said, like, that contradicts that, which is we're white, but the more important thing is the concrete weakness on that color complex, in other words. Okay, now here's a scary move. Alright, I'm castling, man. You can win a pawn if you want to. But it's a very dangerous pawn to take. I would be sort of terrified to play bishop takes g7 and take the pawn. Bishop takes g7, bishop takes f5 is interesting, but that's not so great, actually. I have to take back. Now he'll do this, bishop takes c3. His king is never going to be 100% safe, but it's kind of like a Gingy Indian. The b file isn't that bad because he hasn't played a6. If he had played a6 right now, it would probably be really bad to play bishop takes c3. But I think the fact that he hasn't done that yet is a defining factor. I could take on f5, he takes with the queen. His queen is pretty good on f5, though it is going to get hit by my knight. So I don't know. But do I want to give him a pawn? Well, I'm not really giving him a pawn, am I? It's hard to decide which way to play it. Bishop takes f5 or take back. Both ways are okay. So last game for the stream, guys. We'll be back on Tuesday night, tomorrow night at 6:30 CEST, Central European Summertime. And hopefully the sun will stay out. It's been raining here for like 3 days. Thunderstorms. It's hard to stream because the other thing is there's no oxygen in the room because I had to close the window. That's the other reason for my brain fog, probably. Just now the sun is coming out for the first time. Alright, so the Panda and I are going to be out till tomorrow night. It's going to be a rapid tournament.
Okay, tomorrow night, 7+2 rapid chess. And we're going to be doing casual viewer arena. So if you guys want to be here, it'll be fun. The Panda Arena, 7+2 rapid chess. Okay, tomorrow night, Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we should call it the Panda Arena. G6, wow, that's a good move. I'm saying he played G6. I mean knight F6. See, that's the kind of hallucinations we're talking about. Tense situation, guys. Now he went into the long castles variation. He wants to take back with the pawn, presumably, now. The missing link is my bishop on c1. That will decide the game, really, I think. Is this a good piece or a bad piece? Essentially. Bishop takes g7. That's not what I said, is it? I said g6. What are you talking about? Yeah, the Panda emotes. We're going to get on it. I'm also introducing a new overlay to the stream, and I'll get Streamlabs working in the next week or so. Hopefully tomorrow night I can get the Streamlabs interface working. I said bishop takes g7 like 3 times, but at what point? I was saying bishop takes g7 instead of bishop takes c3. So that's what I'm talking about by brain fog. Okay, I'm severely jet lagged. I didn't I went to bed around 11 last night and didn't get to sleep till 4 in the morning. So that has some effect. And I always have some good excuses. But I like this. Our pawn structure got corrected. I don't care about losing any stinking pawn on a2. I mean, this just opens lines if he plays this. Now this move's a different story. He played knight and knight e4. Knight. But, yeah, man. This is starting to look good. I've played this type of position so many times myself. For black, I mean, I know the difference between a good one and a bad one. It's starting to look like a bad one for black. Beginning with the improvement of my pawn structure, also the location of his king is not safe. I start saying crazy things, I get dyslexic. Didn't see the queen was defending f5. Arsenal fan, your body double was here earlier. He played very similar to you. Now it looks like there's a stupid trap. Bishop takes f5, queen takes f5. So we're winning with bishop d2, knight e2 check, king h1. Sort of demented variation. Bishop d2, knight e2 check, king h1, knight takes d4. Bishop takes f5 check. Okay, that's disturbing. Wait, so bishop takes f5. Queen takes f5 is even possible. I can't just be losing the exchange either. What if I just played rook b3? We're better, but I mean, it's not any forced win. So I don't see the tactics working out after bishop d2. Who's your double supposed to be? No, it's just another Arsenal. But they also played d4 in a kind of similar style to how you would have handled it. Then they made some tactical blunder at the end, but they were fairly fast. They were lower rated than you. But I thought, okay, maybe you created a new account or something. But it turned out the guy said it's not you, and he's probably too low rated to be you. But he played reasonably well, and then like blundered and lost unnecessarily. With more time than he really, had to be pressured. So he had enough time that he didn't have to make crazy blunders. I thought there was an off chance it was you, but apparently not. No, man, you're good. You know how to like behave yourself. You don't cross the line. It's cool. You're respectful. You're respectful in a snide way, Arsenal fan, and I really admire you for that. Now, can we ever like win material here? Stop putting up so much resistance. Pin it and win it. First rule of Fight Club. The first rule of Drinking Club. No, it's Chess Club. What is it again? Is to make sure all your pieces are defended. Because if all your pieces are defended, then nothing bad can happen. He's getting out of this. He's defending well. I have queen b3. Ooh, that looks painful, actually. Yeah, this is not a good sign for black. No, Baleful is going under. Submerging after b5. It looks like you can hang on with queen b4. But I still wouldn't want to be you. Ultimately, the black king is not safe here. But this is going underwater. The season starts again, and I'm going to be playing 150s and 160s, so that's good for you, though, you know, to play comparably rated or strength players. You're obviously going to improve. You know, if you play long games against stronger players, this and studying master games are the two best things you can do. Alright, Baleful is done. Stick a fork in him. Okay, it was eventful and interesting, but eventually Black lost his way. It's a risky type of setup. He played f5 early. You know, this I've played this type of stuff, but it's very, very dangerous. Where's the mate? There is no mate. So we'll just settle for a piece and some attacking chances. The bishop. I said this would be the... It's kind of ironic that I said this bishop would decide the game. Did I not say that? It's kind of funny when you look at it when it's said and done. You know, that I didn't intend on it like being an extra piece how it decides the game, but it's just strangely ironic. All right, thank you for the game, Baleful. We'll be back tomorrow night, guys. Thank you for watching and subscribing and supporting the stream. I'll be back tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. with let's say the actual arena will start at 6:45, but we'll do 6:30 p.m. for the start of the stream. Tuesday night, Ponda Arena, 7+2 Rapid Chess. Thanks, Soltigo. He had to leave, but he's our moderator. He's done a great job. Thanks, everybody, for subscribing, watching the stream, and I will be back tomorrow night. Okay, guys? Take care, and goodbye from myself and the Ponda.
Bye-bye.